Blessings in the name of the Most High God. How's it going today, people? Those who felt it on their heart, mind, and spirit to tune in, I appreciate it greatly. You know, there's nothing fraudulent about me at all. I won't ever come on here and portray to be something that I'm not, or any of those things. But I know people already know. There's way more individuals who know me than I can even possibly imagine. Because you guys gotta tell yourselves, you gotta ask yourself a question. Who benefits on this side of the spiritual warfare in regards to knowing what you've got going on every waking moment, every waking second of every day in which God has blessed you to rise and live? You see what I mean? Who benefits on this side of the spiritual warfare? You know, who's got the power to organize and, you know, give assignments to the countless individuals who they tell to go and illegally watch people? Who benefits on this side of the spiritual warfare? You gotta ask yourself that. Who's got the power to organize such an operation and then to be carried out to the ladder? You know, we gotta start asking ourselves these questions. But we already know the answer. You know, the short answer is obviously Satan, because he runs the whole thing down here on earth. You know, nothing happens without his approval demonically on the evil side of the spectrum. Now, the Most High God, he always has the final say in all things, and they can only do what he allows and deems fit. That's it. But who stands to gain on this side of it? You know? And then it's like the people who they've got all day to follow you and monitor in on you, what are they doing all day long? What do they have going on? They don't have anything going on, because they get paid to follow you around. You know? They give them countless vehicles, and then they think they're being converted out like a van that just, you know, whatever this vehicle was that just went by. And they can always hear what you're saying too. So, you know, there's high technological equipment involved as well. And that's just the truth. You know, spiritually we understand. But on this side of it though, who stands to gain? Why is it so imperative? Because at the end of the day, regardless of demons jumping in and out of people, there still has to be people aware and in the know on this side of it, connected to that, you know, the evil side of the spectrum. There has to. It's inevitable. You know, there has to be. We know there's witches and warlocks, and we also know that they have intermixed these people all throughout society. You know, they'll be in every tax bracket on paper anyway. But they always disguise up how they get paid. One of the ones that they sent into my life years ago, she got a $12,000 tax check with no pushback. With no pushback governmentally. We've seen people become under the microscope for a whole lot less. You know? Because they always have to distribute and disperse the monies in a way that, you know, it doesn't come back to the higher ups in charge of said operation. And then, you know, because we're talking about people with power, people who make things move and shake on this side of it. you know? But at the end of the day, it's going to be catastrophic for these individuals once God, you know, lays down his judgment, you know? That's why I don't understand why there's so many people right now sitting up here talking about material things and worldly things when things are headed in a very dark and evil direction, expeditiously and exponentially. That's a fact. Saying nobody just sitting up here just spewing just belligerent rhetoric. Nah, I'm speaking the real. And the thing about it is, so many people have been sent into my life, you know, and the people that I had kept contact with when I was gone for, you know, when I had moved away for a very long time. I stayed in contact with some people. You know, some of them, I was giving them a play-by-play of the things that was happening to me. And it was like, I don't know, things got weird. Like they already knew what I was dealing with. And then, in certain instances, they try to sit up here and act like I'm just making things up. When they know I've always been the type of to get the truth. So, you know, it's been many. And I'm sure those of you out there, you've been dealing with it, you know. See, here, I've just been, you know, I've been very passive about this. Now that I fully understand what's going on. When I was in Texas, there wasn't nothing passive about it. But I was trying to, you know, I was defending myself carnally against this whole thing, not understanding the totality of the matter. You know, I used to scare the daylights out of these people, you know, and then some of them, there was just nothing there in the vessel. So I've dealt with countless individuals about this. Employers and everything. And then it got to a point to where I couldn't even get a job at all. And getting a job there was just so easy. But at the end of the day, like I said, they will make it like, you know, they will hire all the unqualified people. And then you could be overqualified even, and they'll pass you up. You know, when it comes to this thing, and that's just real. That is just so real. And then what blows my mind even more is the fact that you can have individuals up here